Hey there, MJ traders and investors. It's Rod with Power Group. Welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth, your home for MJ stocks, crypto assets, news, and interviews. Today's Thursday, it's March 6th. Hope you're doing well. And in this video, we're going to be discussing the less than awesome AYR earnings that came out today. That was for Q4 2024 and full fiscal 2024. Earnings did disappoint. Stock was down over 20% at one point. And I've been kind of sounding the alarm on this stock for a while now that I think it's in for a whole world of hurt. And there was also a weekly bear flag that I mentioned last week targeting 26 cents. And we came within about 17% of that bear flag target. So we'll take a look at the chart as well. I'll give my thoughts and opinions on the price action in the days, weeks, months ahead. But before we get to it, make sure to smash the like. It helps support me in the channel. If you're new, you can subscribe, tick the bell, all that good stuff. You'll be notified on any future videos or when I go live. And as always, this is not financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. Never buy or sell anything based on anything that I say or write. You can follow us over on X as well, formerly Twitter. Handle for that is @GroupPow. I was pretty vocal this morning about AYR, and this isn't me saying, a flex or I told you so or anything like that. It's just we have to call a spade a spade. And I said ever since Florida failed its Amendment 3 initiative to legalize adult use in the state, I said AYR is in for a whole world of hurt. So there's been tons of price compression across the US. There's thousands and thousands of producers. You got the Canadian companies are always going to be a threat. You've got Canopy USA now. So, Canopy's bringing its expertise under that new umbrella. So they have Jetty, Wana, and Acreage. And there's just a lot of competition in the US in general. But imagine once LPs start to come there, it's going to happen eventually. Eventually, it's just going to be just like alcohol and tobacco, in my opinion. And they're going to be in for a lot of competition, price compression. It's just not looking good. The company has a lot of debt at the moment, and they haven't really seen any growth. So this was the article here that came out this morning, March 6th, 7 Eastern. AYR Wellness reports fourth quarter and full year 2024 results, and I just took a snippet out of there. You can see here that they basically had no growth. So their revenue from this time in 2023 was actually down 0.7%. Their gross profit dropped substantially, and a lot of this has to do with that oversupply issues and them ramping up capacity to address and serve the Florida adult use market, but it didn't pass. Might pass in 2026, the ballot there. We'll see what happens with that initiative. And, there's a good chance that it does, but we might even see rescheduling and maybe even an attempt to deschedule at some point over the next 4 years with this new administration. But is it going to make it? I don't know. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. I don't have a good feeling, and usually my gut is right, 95+% of the time. It's going to be very difficult for this company to make it through, but maybe they can be an acquisition target as well. Maybe some other company acquires them. That's possible. But yeah, it's not looking good. Adjusted gross profit was down substantially as well, over 10.5%. They had an operating loss of $133.9 million for the quarter, which was extremely bad. And adjusted EBITDA was down 35.9% as well compared to Q4. So yeah, it's not looking good at all. Adjusted EBITDA margin was down 16.7%. So like I said, there's not much here, in my opinion. I would be again, I'm not telling you to buy, sell, or hold. I'd be very, very cautious. I've been, like I said, sounding the alarm ever since Florida didn't pass adult use. And I'm not a big fan of this company. They're barely growing in numbers except for their losses and their debt. If you take a look here, I posted as well, someone stick a fork in AYR, it is done. Ended 2024 with $35.5 million in cash, which is very, very bad. They're down from $50.8 million in 2023. Their total debt increased to $413.6 million from $401.5 million in Q3 2024, reflecting ongoing financial obligations. And then I said, AYR, show me the chart, I'll tell you the news. I said a week or so ago that the bear flag on the weekly time frame was targeting 26 cents. And if you bring this up here, we came within the low there was 30 cents. So we came within 4 pennies. And a lot of people thought I was out to lunch. Keep in mind, we were just at $3, over $3 not too long ago. And here we are. This is how quickly things can change. We didn't even get above the 0.236. Anything under 170 there at the 0.32 was a potential weekly bear flag. So when you can't even get above the 0.236 or even come close, that's an even worse signal that this is extremely weak. And that's exactly what we got. I had a lot of people ask me as well, as you can see from this article here. Stephen M. Cohen, the interim CEO of AYR. A lot of people are asking me, could Tilray potentially acquire AYR? And a lot of that has to do with Stephen Cohen being on the board of directors with Tilray. Maybe in the future, this could be a play. And, as of right now, it'd be like scooping it up for pennies on the dollar. But as of right now, you can't. They wouldn't be able to do so unless they were to give up their NASDAQ listing. You can't have operations in the U.S. and be listed on a U.S. major exchange like the NASDAQ or the NYSE, right? So we'll see what happens with regards to reform in the U.S. Maybe it becomes a reality sooner than later, but curious to hear what everybody thinks. Do you think that this is a potential acquisition of Tilray in the future? Because of this connection, I don't think that necessarily means that there's going to be some sort of deal done between the two in the future. But keep in mind, he's also the interim CEO. They're still searching for a CEO, and they also had a new CFO. So it's just there's been a lot of turmoil here with the company. And like I said, I had a bad feeling about this. And again, it's not a told you so moment. It's just we have to take our bull blinders off. And just because we have a position in a company doesn't mean we should be a perma bull, right? We have to call a spade a spade. And yeah, it's not looking good. As you can see here on the weekly time frame, the low of today was 30.5 cents. We'll just zoom into the daily time frame here. Yeah, it's not looking good whatsoever. So yeah, this earnings, yeah, that is bad. That is really, really bad. So yeah, all I can say is we got to use caution, and there's a lot of great companies out there in the MJ space. We don't need to be picking the companies with the highest risk. There's already enough risk in this sector, and a lot of the large caps have essentially become small caps. So I would just be very, very cautious on the picks that we select down here, because there's fire sales all around the sector. And these companies like AYR, I think they have a lot more risk than reward. And like I said, this is on the Canadian side, so the numbers are inflated there. But it does say they came in with a slight beat in terms of revenue. Let me just bring up on the AYRWF on the OTC real quick here. Yeah, so they had a slight beat in terms of quarterly revenue from the estimate, but look at that. Look at that EPS. That's just atrocious. So we'll get for the US side. I know a lot of people invest in the US side, so we'll take a look at the USD figures. So if you go there from the high to the low, and this will also explain how to draw a bear flag. You just take your fib tool, you go from the high to the low. How do we know that's the low? Because we didn't start a weekly bounce. Once we started the weekly bounce, meaning we broke the high of the previous weekly candle, that's when you use that as your low. Swing high, swing low. And then you take your measured move there from the high to the low, move it out to your 0.382 fib. And again, it didn't even get anywhere close to the 0.236, let alone the 0.32. And then as you can see, this one's saying about 16 cents. So it's even more bearish. About another 20 to 21% of downside from here. So like I said, stick a fork in this one. I think it is done. Obviously I feel bad for anybody that's invested in this. It's weekly oversold now. If you've been affected by this, I'm not trying to, again, say I told you so or anything like that. I'm just trying to reiterate that, we can't just like a company for the sake of, liking a company, right? You have to look under the hood, and, if they're seeing increasing revenues and, they're seeing they continue to pay down their debt, that's one thing, but debt has been mounting, their cash position has been dropping, and it's just not looking good. There's basically not much light at the end of this tunnel. Florida is nowhere near going to see adult use, even if it's in 2026. It's basically a 2027 story at that point. So there's a lot of turbulence ahead, I think, for this company. And like I said, with the amount of price compression that we've been seeing, with the amount of competition we've been seeing, it's just not a great recipe for success at the moment. But again, I totally feel for anybody who's lost money on this one. I did my best to sound the alarm, and I know a lot of you reached out to me as well and said, yeah, you definitely helped me with this one, kind of avoid a bloodbath. So again, we have to get clear on our game plan, and right now is the time to take advantage of the great companies in this sector, because everything is on a fire sale at the moment. But let me know your thoughts and opinions on this in the comment section below. We'll continue the conversation there. If you were affected, let me know. If you need to vent, by all means, I can always, give you my 2 cents and can't tell you what to do. I'm not a financial advisor, but I can tell you what I would do if I were in your shoes. So happy Thursday. Hope you have a great rest of your day. It's Rod with Power Group. Once again, thanks for joining us on the Pursuit of Wealth, and we'll see you again on the next video.